press, a very pleasant good morning to you. In view of what I see as a coordinated UWP campaign to smear my name, I believe I must set the record straight. The allegation that I am in possession of a stolen government vehicle is utter rubbish. So too is the allegation by perhaps one of the politicians with the worst reputation, Honorable Guy Joseph, who stated in Parliament that an investigation into my vehicle started in 2015. These allegations reflect viciousness, vindictiveness, and callousness of a failing and corrupt government. I was able to view the documents, including all the memos, in possession of government during a meeting with the Customs and Excise Department. I have since requested full disclosure of these documents, but the Customs and Excise Department has refused to cooperate. In time, the Customs Department will be required, as the law commands, to make frank and full disclosure of all documents related to this purported investigation that they have in their possession. There is no question that Guy Mayers deliberately and maliciously misled the Cabinet Secretary to believe that a vehicle was purchased by the High Commission and that said vehicle is now in my possession. The truth is, the vehicle was purchased by me. I have evidence that the monies were transferred from my bank account for payment to the car manufacturer and dealer. Not a cent, red or yellow, of public monies was used to purchase the vehicle. Unlike the corrupt use of taxpayers, town councils, and Taiwanese money by the UWP for their personal use. On October 18, 2017, the Cabinet Secretary wrote to the Director of Finance. The Cabinet Secretary stated that the alleged unauthorized disposal of a state asset is a serious matter that requires appropriate investigation. He never asked whether there is proof of purchase of the vehicle by the High Commission or the government of St. Lucia. The Cabinet Secretary did not choose to write to the Permanent Secretary of External Affairs, who is the Chief Accounting Officer of that ministry, to ascertain if there is any validity to the allegations made by Guy Mayers. The Director of Finance memo of November 29, 2017 makes interesting reading. Firstly, she says that the department has reviewed the attachments sent to her by the Cabinet Secretary and has identified what appears to be an asset belonging to the state now owned and in possession of Dr. Ernest Hilaire. Importantly, and all the documents will be shared with you at the end of this press conference, importantly, the Director of Finance went on to say, and I ask you to reflect on this, that the Department of Finance has no record of this asset having been purchased by the state, nor been disposed of by the Department of Finance. By that, the Director of Finance means that you have not found as a fact that I use any public or state funds to purchase the vehicle. Add to these extraordinary statements and facts that all diplomatic missions are required to submit accounts to the Ministry of Finance and are subject to audit by the Director of Audit. Then, and notwithstanding her contradictory statements and positions, the Director of Finance said, although asked by the Cabinet Secretary to investigate the unauthorized disposal of government property, she asked for further investigation and requisite follow-up action. In other words, the Director of Finance was washing her hands of this allegation because, as she said, the Department of Finance has no record of this asset having been purchased by the deep state, nor been disposed by the Department of Finance. In other words, again, government's records establish that the vehicle is not owned by the state, and therefore it is actually owned and in possession of Dr. Hilaire. What is truly baffling is that the documents Guy Mayers provided showed that the original supplier's quotation was not in the name of the High Commission. He also provided documents which showed that the payment was not made by the High Commission and that the submitted application to purchase a duty-free vehicle was not in the name of the High Commission. In the very circumstances presented by mayors alone, how can it be said by any sane individual that the vehicle belongs to the state? How can the vehicle be a gift to St. Lucia when documents show all the arrangements that were made to purchase the vehicle? Interestingly, the officer in the High Commission who handled all the transactions on my behalf when I returned to St. Lucia at the end of my contract has written to the Controller of Customs to explain that he undertook all the transactions on my behalf. They have that document. Clearly, Mr. Mayers is not interested in the truth, but is willing to use his office and be part of a political witch hunt and vindictive crusade against me. So if the UWP want to act on their own lies, then come here now and arrest me for theft and take the vehicle. This will never happen and can never happen because those that say this know it's a malicious lie. I have the ultimate proof, my bank statements, that I provided the money to purchase the vehicle. There is no evidence that any investigation was started in 2015. Documents show that the vehicle arrived in St. Lucia at the end of December 2015, and the request for an investigation was started in 2017. Guy Joseph, in his usual dishonest manner, lied again to the Parliament and the people of St. Lucia. St. Lucians, this is frightening. This is dangerous. This is precisely the dirty, nasty politics practiced by Cambridge Analytica and SCL. This time, the United Workers' Party want to inject the naked abuse of state power and malicious persecution at its worst. I thank you very much, and I shall take any questions you have.